Hey people, what is up? Welcome back to Hey people, what is up? Welcome back to our channel once again. It's me, your bearded bro, QuickSilver 15, back with another video. And today is a very special day because cinemas are back open. And we're excited because the movie we're about to review is a movie we actually experienced on the big screen once again, and it was super fun, super exciting. It felt so good. It felt so good to be back in the cinemas, and of course, because this is like first time all over again, we had to go big for this movie. And of course, since this is actually a big movie as well, we went for the VIP style cinema, which was so awesome. Momonski's actually gonna do a video about our experience going back to the cinema, but just the gist of it, for you to watch a movie in cinemas now during the pandemic, first of all, you need to get vaccinated and of course book online. Thankfully, the cinema we went to had limited seats. You have one seat apart, no food allowed, and it was such an awesome experience because we almost had the whole cinema to ourselves. But that aside, let's get to the movie that we are about to review. And it's a movie that is not so sugar, not so everything nice, but definitely a lot of spice. Cue intro. And of course, we're talking about Dune. And finally, after years of waiting, it's finally here. And I'm not talking about years as in since they announced it, but years since I have been a fan of this series. So just a quick recap on what is Dune and why it's significant and why you should probably watch it if you're a sci-fi fan. And if you don't know what Dune is and you're a sci-fi fan, what are you doing? Watch Dune, okay? So Dune is essentially the granddaddy of all your favorite sci-fi movies because, for example, Star Wars is very heavily inspired by Dune and the Incal. And the Incal is also an epic graphic novel inspired by Dune. And they're actually going to do a movie directed by Taika Waititi, and we're definitely excited about that. But that aside, again, Dune has inspired countless sci-fi movies, sci-fi universes, and again, most notably is Star Wars, things like The Fifth Element and stuff like that. So Dune is essentially like Hamlet, but in space. A lot of betrayal and spying and politics and shady dealings and whatnot, and they're all in space. So the story of Dune actually revolves around this thing called this magical element called the spice, which is essentially a magic powder that can do almost anything. And I do mean absolutely almost anything. It can be turned into food, it can be turned into paper, it can give you superpowers, it can give you long life. What else? And it can make you have space travel capabilities. So it's essentially like magic fuel that powers spaceships. Because in the world of Dune, in the Duneverse, if you may say, they don't have advanced AI technology, because before this whole Dune Wars began, there was this war against AI machines. There were a point in time in the Duneverse where AIs tried to enslave humanity, full on Skynet, and humanity fought back, and ever since then they decided to never again do machines that are human-like, and that's when they discovered the spice, which is now like the central thing that everybody wants. So yeah, I know it's a bit complicated already, and it will be. It will be more complicated as we talk about it even more. A lot of factions come into play in Dune, and yeah, another fitting analogy to it is probably a more modern analogy for Dune is probably space Game of Thrones. So yeah, a lot of surprise deaths and stuff, and it's really awesome. So with that in the background, of course, a spice wars, people trying to control the spice, and whoever controls the spice controls the universe. That is a thing they say in the movie. So yeah, this movie starts when House Atreides. Okay, there will be a lot of confusing names. So there's a house called Atreides, and they were given sovereignty to Arrakis, which is the only planet where you can mine the spice. So that's like, wow, that's super big deal. So the emperor gave them this planet so they can farm the spice there, but actually the emperor had hidden agendas, because before it was given to House Atreides, it belonged to the Hawkins? Wait. So before it was given to House Atreides, it belonged to the Harkanians, and the Emperor had secret plans to the two houses go to war and destroy House Atreides. Such a confusing names. House Atreides, okay? Okay, so we have House Atreides, the Emperor, and the Harkanians, okay? And the Harkanians and the Emperor went to war with House Atreides, killed them all, because apparently the Emperor is scared that they have their house, the House Atreides, has gotten too powerful, had so much influence over the other houses, and he is scared that they might make a play for the throne. And again, very Game of Thrones, very Palpatine-like, and yeah, Star Wars, Game of Thrones, very awesome. So I'm sorry for the super long description, but actually it's just in the beginning, and it gets a lot more complicated in that. And of course, we follow the eyes through the only heir of House Atreides, Paul, who is kind of the chosen one. He is the heir to the House Atreides, and his mother is also a Bene Gesserit, and like a space witch, which they have these space witches essentially have the Force in this movie, and only females were allowed. But she trained her son because she wanted her son to be the chosen one, which is like this Jesus figure in this universe. Okay, and he has magical space visions of the future. Okay, so are you with me so far? Just explaining the very first 5 minutes of the movie, and it's already so confusing. But it's so good. So overall, the story of Dune,
Stop it. Get some help.
Oh, so if you're a fan of shows like Game of Thrones, then I definitely would recommend you watch Dune, because again, Star Wars / Game of Thrones, awesome. Oh, and it is actually culturally accepted by sci-fi fans to be one of the greatest sci-fi universes of all time. And of course, with that title and the producers of this film trying to follow the books as closely as possible, then you already have such a stellar story, and it shows on screen. That said, they also have a powerhouse cast. Of course, they have Oscar Isaac as Father of Paul. Got his name exactly. We have Thanos, Josh Brolin, being the, oh my god, I forget the so many names. Of course, we have Jason Momoa, Zendaya, and so much more. One of the most surprising characters actually is the lead character, which is Timothy Chalamet, who plays again Paul. The dude looks great. He looks like an MC for an anime. Okay, so he looks like an awesome main character, perfect for this film, and I believe this kid will have an awesome career moving forward, even after Dune and all its preceding sequels. One thing that bugs me though his mom looks so amazing, and there's almost a weird tension between them, kind of like a stepmom situation. Sorry guys, maybe it's just my corrupted brain thinking that, but yeah, there's some sort of weird tension between them, but yeah, they're still awesome. Also, the music in this movie is just spectacular. We have just an epic orchestrated soundtrack that just, because they show a lot of shots of the environment, and it's so beautiful, and having these epic orchestrated music is just so perfect for it, and it just multiplies the beauty of everything. Although, as I said, they do have a lot of landscape shots, and yeah, it just felt overused. There is a lot, and it's beautiful, of course, but there are a lot of long shots of just details, and sometimes it can feel a bit boring, just a teeny tiny bit. But yeah, I think that's one thing they could improve in this movie is the pacing, because it's a bit long, and I understand why, because the book is just so expansive, and I believe the producers kind of want to give the audience on how expansive it really is. And yeah, for me, the movie just felt longer than it should have been, and if they did want to be as expansive as possible, then maybe they should have gone with a series. And I think it would be better if Dune was a series, because there's no way that they can encompass everything in a few movies, right? So exactly like Lord of the Rings, we all love, well, I love Lord of the Rings, the movie, the books, and the movies aren't as expansive as the books, obviously, but that doesn't take away on how awesome the movies are. So that's kind of the same thing that's happening with Dune. Overall, Dune is every bit as epic as I thought it would have been, and as a long time So overall, Dune was every bit as epic than that I thought it would be. The hype was just on point. Again, there are a few scenes that felt just a bit too long, but understanding how the books are, yeah, I kind of understand why they went for it. But yeah, maybe they can fix the pacing a bit more. That said, it's still beautiful. It's still an amazing movie. It still has amazing story, cast, and everything. Overall, we're giving Dune a solid 7 out of 8, only because, again, kind of like Lord of the Rings, you can't really fully appreciate it. Again, kind of like Lord of the Rings, you can't fully appreciate it until we get to see all the movies, right? So yeah, right now leaves a lot of questions hanging. It doesn't really answer any plot points. It started at the beginning, and yeah, it feels kind of like a super long teaser for the next expansions of this series, and that's both a sad and a good thing, because you'll leave the cinemas with a lot of questions, but hopefully you'll be excited for the sequels, which sadly we have to wait two years for. So yeah, again, I kind of wish this was a Netflix series, so at least we can have a bit more time with this, like an hour episode over 10 episodes. That's like 10 hours compared to a 2-hour 30-minute movie, and I think it could have been more expansive and just overall more entertaining as a series. But again, no complaints. It's just, you know, usually again, books translate better into TV series. So that said, go watch Dune, especially if you're a sci-fi fan. Definitely is a good time. Takes you on an epic journey to another world, because again, it is super expansive and it details the planets. The world building is awesome, and there are a lot of backstories that have not yet been told. But yeah, again, we're in for an epic journey over the next few years with Dune. So what do you guys think? Have you seen Dune? Have you been to the cinemas lately? Let us know what your experience is, and comment down below what you think of Dune. Once again, if you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe and notification bell so you'll be notified of our next videos. And once again, it's me, your bearded bro, QuickSilver 15, signing off. Peace.